I never thought I'd be the guy posting in a relationship subreddit, but here we are. I'm 34M. My wife, Emma, is 32F. We've been married for 8 years, together for 11. No kids. A small house outside the city. A dog named Cooper. On paper we looked solid. One of those couples people casually assume will stay together forever. And for a long time, I believed that too. Emma always had a sharp personality. That's probably the nicest way to put it. She was blunt when she wanted something, impatient when she didn't get it, and had this talent for turning every disagreement into a courtroom where she somehow became both lawyer and judge. At first I thought it was confidence. Later I started realizing confidence and cruelty aren't the same thing. Still, I loved her. Even when she snapped at waiters for getting an order wrong. Even when she rolled her eyes and called me dramatic if I brought up something she'd done that bothered me. Even when she lied about little random things that made no sense. And I mean stupid lies. She'd say she was at her sister's place, then casually mention grabbing coffee across town. She'd claim she never got my text while literally holding her phone. One time she told me she worked late because of a meeting. Then she came home and mentioned details from a movie she definitely didn't watch. When I called her out, she always had an answer. You remembered wrong. I literally never said that. Why are you making everything weird? That last one was her favorite. And somehow she always said it with enough confidence that I ended up second-guessing myself. But around 6 months ago something shifted. It wasn't just random lies anymore. She became weirdly protective of her phone. Emma used to leave it anywhere. Kitchen counter, couch, bathroom sink. Then overnight it became glued to her. Face down every time. Password changed. Notifications muted. She started taking calls outside. At midnight. In freezing weather. I noticed new clothes too. Not just buying things, she started dressing differently. More effort. Perfume before quick errands. Makeup to pick up groceries. And the thing that got under my skin the most? She suddenly cared what I was doing. Where I'd be. When I'd get home. Whether I planned to stop anywhere after work. At first I actually thought maybe she was trying to reconnect. Then one Thursday night I got home early because a meeting got canceled. And Emma looked like she'd seen a ghost. She was standing in the kitchen with a glass of wine. Still in heels. Hair done. Table clean like we had company. But no dinner. No music. No candles. Nothing. Just her staring at me like I'd broken into my own house. Oh, she said way too fast. You're early. I laughed awkwardly. Yeah, meeting got canceled. She immediately grabbed her phone from the counter. Too fast. Then tucked it into her sweater pocket. That moment hit me harder than I expected. Because it wasn't subtle. It was panic. I asked if someone had been over. She gave me this irritated look. Why would someone be over? I don't know. You look dressed up. I can't wear decent clothes in my own house now. There it was. Instant attack. Instant defense. I backed off. But then Cooper started barking at the back door. And I noticed something weird. The side gate was open. Emma never leaves it open. Ever. She's obsessive about it because Cooper can get out. I walked outside. Dark backyard. Cold air. Nothing there. But near the fence, fresh footprints in the mud. Large. Definitely not mine. And definitely not Emma's. My stomach dropped so hard I thought I might throw up. I stood there staring like an idiot while Cooper kept barking. Then Emma opened the door behind me. Arms crossed. Already angry. What are you doing? I turned around. Whose footprints are those? And without even looking, without a second of hesitation, she said, probably yours. Like I was insane. Like I hadn't been standing there looking directly at them. That was the moment something cracked inside me. Not proof. Not yet. But the first time I felt that cold certainty. That awful feeling your body knows before your brain catches up. Something was happening. And whatever Emma was hiding, it was already way bigger than I understood. I barely slept that night. Emma acted like nothing happened. That part messed with me more than the footprints. She climbed into bed, scrolled her phone for 10 minutes, turned off her lamp, kissed my shoulder, and said goodnight like we were a completely normal couple. Meanwhile, I was staring at the ceiling, replaying every second. The wine glass, her expression, the gate, the mud, the way she lied without even blinking. At around 2 a.m., I felt the mattress shift. Emma got up. Quiet. Careful. I kept my breathing steady and listened. Bedroom door opened. Soft footsteps down the hall. Then the faint click of the back door. I waited maybe 10 seconds before following. Barefoot. Heart pounding. The kitchen lights were off. Only moonlight through the windows. Emma stood on the patio, whispering into her phone. I couldn't hear everything. Just fragments. No, he came home early. I know. Not tonight. Then silence. She turned and saw me. Her whole body stiffened. What the hell are you doing? She snapped. I just stood there. What are you doing? She rolled her eyes immediately. Talking to Mia. At 2 in the morning? She's upset. About what? Emma crossed her arms. Why are you interrogating me? Because none of this made sense. Because she was whispering outside in freezing weather. Because I'd heard her say he came home early. But the second I pushed, she got louder. You scared me sneaking up behind me. I wasn't sneaking. You absolutely were. Emma. God, this is exhausting. And then she brushed past me and went back inside. Conversation over. Like I was the unreasonable one. The next morning she was sweet. Almost weirdly sweet. Made coffee. Asked if I wanted breakfast. Touched my arm while talking. Smiled more than usual. If you've ever dealt with someone who lies a lot, you know exactly how unsettling that is. Because it doesn't feel loving. It feels strategic. Like damage control. I went to work distracted as hell. Around noon my phone buzzed. Emma, can you grab wine on your way home? Normal text. Then another. And maybe flowers? I want the dining room to feel nicer. Flowers. I stared at my screen. Part of me felt guilty for suspecting her. Maybe I was spiraling. Maybe she really wanted a nice night. Maybe the footprints meant nothing. Maybe I was turning into a paranoid husband because I'd watched too many cheating stories online. So yeah, I bought wine. And flowers. I got home around 6. Emma wasn't there. Her car wasn't there either. House locked. No message. I texted. No response. Called. Straight to voicemail. I waited. 30 minutes. Then an hour. At 7:20 she finally called back. Annoyed. What? I stood in the kitchen holding the flowers. Where are you? Out. With who? Why? Because you asked me to bring wine and flowers. Silence. Then. All right. Like she forgot. I got caught up. With who? My sister. Her sister lives 45 minutes away and hates driving into town after dark. I knew that. Emma knew I knew that. Didn't matter. She said it anyway. Then. I'll be home later. Click. That was it. I wish I could say I stayed calm. I didn't. I called her sister. Mia answered immediately. Cheerful. I asked casually if Emma was with her. Pause. Then. No, why? I felt physically cold. Not dramatic. Not metaphorically. Actual cold. Like my whole body dropped 10 degrees. I told Mia never mind. Hung up. Sat there in complete silence. And then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. One text. No greeting. No explanation. Just a blurry photo. Emma. In her car. Parked outside a hotel downtown. Driver's seat. Laughing. A man leaned in through the window. His hand on her neck. Her face turned toward him. Like they'd kissed a second before the photo snapped. My hand started shaking so badly, I almost dropped my phone. Then another text. Thought you should know. No name. Nothing else. I stared at that screen for what felt like forever. Then headlights pulled into our driveway. Emma came home smiling. Car door shut. Keys jingling. Walking toward the house. While I stood in the kitchen with flowers in one hand. And proof in the other. Part 3. The second Emma walked in, she froze. Not because she saw the flowers. Because she saw my face. She knew. I didn't say anything right away. I just held up my phone. She looked at the screen. And for maybe half a second, her expression cracked. Then she recovered. Fast. Too fast. What is that? I stared at her. Are you serious? It's blurry. Emma. It is. She set her purse down like this was a normal conversation. Like we were discussing bills. Then she gave me this annoyed shrug. That could be anyone. I actually laughed. Not because it was funny. Because my brain didn't know what else to do. Your car. Lots of cars look alike. Your coat. It's black. Emma. Why are you acting like this? There it was again. Instant lie. Instant attack. Like I was inconveniencing her. My hands were shaking so hard I had to put my phone on the counter. Who is he? No one. Then why were you at a hotel? I wasn't. I called Mia. Her jaw tightened. Just slightly. Then. Okay. And? You said you were with her. I was going there. No. Yes. No. She stepped closer. Voice sharp. Don't do this. Do what? Turn one weird thing into some dramatic accusation. I felt like I was losing my mind. I showed her the second photo. Zoomed in. Her face. His hand on her neck. No denying it. She stared. And then said the most unbelievable thing I've ever heard. He's a coworker. I blinked. What? He was upset. At a hotel? He needed to talk. Why is his hand on your neck? I moved. Emma. He leaned in, and I backed away. You're laughing in the picture. She crossed her arms. I can't control what some creep does. I just stood there, completely stunned. The lies kept changing every 10 seconds. Coworker. Then he leaned in. Then he was a creep. Then she was going to Mia's. None of it lined up. And she delivered every version with total confidence. Like volume could replace truth. I asked his name. She refused. I asked why an unknown number sent me photos. She shrugged. Probably some psycho. I asked how long this had been happening. She snapped. Nothing is happening. Then her phone buzzed. Right there. In her pocket. She grabbed it so fast it was almost violent. But I saw the screen light up. One name. Ryan. And a preview. You okay? Did he? She locked it instantly. Too late. I saw. And she saw me see it. Silence. Heavy. Ugly. Then Emma's whole expression changed. The anger disappeared. Her eyes filled instantly. Actual tears. I didn't want you to find out like this. That hit harder than yelling. Because suddenly we were in a different conversation. My chest tightened. Find out what? She sat down. Covered her face. I didn't mean for this to happen. I felt like the floor dropped. How long? She whispered. 3 months. 3 months. 90 days. Dozens of dinners. Weekends. Movie nights. Conversations. All while she was lying straight to my face. I asked if she loved him. She hesitated. And that hesitation wrecked me more than anything. Then she said no. Immediately after. Too fast. I love you. I couldn't breathe right. Did you sleep with him? Another pause. Then. No. I looked at her. She looked away. And that told me everything. I asked again. She snapped. Why are you asking questions you already decided answers to? Then immediately cried harder. Said she felt lonely. Said I was distant lately. Said Ryan listened. Said she never meant for it to become physical. Then admitted it almost became physical. Then said maybe once. Then said she didn't remember. I'm serious. Within 10 minutes I got 4 different versions. And every time I pointed out the contradiction, she got angry, or cried, or blamed me, or said I was twisting her words. Finally I asked one simple thing. Is he married? She froze. And I knew, before she even answered. Yes. Then she added. But he's separated. And I remember thinking, of course he is. Because apparently every cheater on earth is basically separated. I walked out to the backyard because I genuinely thought I might throw up. Cold air. Dark fence. Same muddy footprints. Emma came to the doorway behind me, crying, asking me not to leave, saying she loved me, saying she made a mistake. Then my phone buzzed again. Same unknown number. Another photo. This one clear. Emma. Ryan. Hotel lobby. Kissing. Timestamped. From 2 hours earlier. And underneath. She's lying to you. There's more. Part 4. I stared at the second photo, so long my screen dimmed. Emma kept talking behind me. I honestly couldn't hear most of it. Something about how I was misunderstanding. Something about how it looked worse than it was. Then she saw my face. And saw the phone. And everything stopped. The crying. The fake, trembling voice. The excuses. She went dead silent. Then, who sent that? I didn't answer. She stepped toward me. Give me your phone. I laughed. Actually laughed. Because that was somehow her first instinct. Not I'm sorry. Not please let me explain. Just, give me your phone. No. Now. Emma, seriously? Her whole tone sharpened. Whoever is doing this is stalking me. I turned around. Or exposing you. She slapped my hand. Hard. Trying to grab the phone. I pulled back instinctively. And she looked furious. Like I had crossed a line. Do you realize how insane this is? She snapped. Do you? It's private. Cheating is private now? I said nothing happened. I'm literally looking at you kissing him. She yelled so loud Cooper started barking inside. I didn't sleep with him. Then immediately. It only happened twice. And then she froze. Because she heard herself. I felt like the whole world went silent. Twice. Emma pressed both hands to her face. God. I just stared. She whispered. I didn't mean. Twice. It wasn't. How many times? Her voice got louder again. Defensive. It doesn't matter. That sentence broke something in me. Because it mattered. Every lie mattered. Every late night. Every fake smile. Every time she made me feel paranoid for noticing. I asked when it started. She said February. Then I reminded her Ryan texted did he. Like this wasn't new. Then suddenly it started in January. Then maybe December. Then she said she couldn't remember. I asked where they met. Work conference. No, actually a client dinner. No, he transferred from another branch. Every answer changed. Like she was building the story while speaking. Then my phone rang. Unknown number again. Emma lunged for it. I answered first. Silence. For a second. Then a woman's voice. Quiet. Controlled. Are you her husband? My throat tightened. Yeah. Emma went pale. The woman said, My name is Claire. Ryan is my husband. Emma whispered. No. Claire kept talking. Fast. Like she'd been holding it in for months. She'd suspected Ryan for a while. Checked his location. Followed him tonight. Took the photos. Found Emma's full name. Then found me. Emma was shaking now. Actually shaking. Claire said this had been going on for at least 6 months. Hotels. Lunch breaks. A weekend work retreat in March. And then she dropped something that hit harder than anything else. She told Ryan she was filing for divorce. I couldn't speak. Emma immediately yelled. That's not true. Claire ignored her. She said you were emotionally abusive. That you barely spoke. That she'd been sleeping in another room. Emma screamed into the phone. She's lying. Claire's voice cracked. I wish I was. Then she hung up. Silence. Complete silence. Emma stood there breathing hard. Wild-eyed. Then. She's crazy. I didn't answer. She is. No answer. Emma stepped closer. Ryan told her lies too. I stared at her. She made things up. Did you tell him I was abusive? No. Did you tell him we were divorcing? No. Emma. No. Then quieter. I said we were struggling. Did you say we slept separately? Her eyes shifted. That tiny movement. That tiny damn movement. And I knew. She did. I felt sick. Because suddenly I wasn't just betrayed. I was rewritten. Turned into some villain in another man's marriage so she could justify sneaking around. I asked if she ever planned to tell me. She hesitated. Then said, yes. And somehow that hurt more. Because it sounded rehearsed. Like maybe she'd had a timeline. Maybe she'd been waiting for the right moment. Maybe she was going to leave after she made sure everything worked with him. Then headlights hit our driveway. A car pulled in. Emma looked out the window and whispered, Oh my God. Ryan got out, walked straight toward our front door, and knocked. Part 5. For a second nobody moved. The knock came again. Harder. Emma looked like all the blood drained out of her body. Don't open it, she whispered. I turned toward the door. She grabbed my arm. Please. Why is he here? I don't know. That was another lie. I could see it all over her face. The panic wasn't confusion. It was he wasn't supposed to do this. Knock. Even louder. Then Ryan's voice from the porch. Emma. That was it. No pretending. No wrong address. No hiding. He said her name like he belonged there. Like he'd said it 1,000 times. Emma whispered. Oh my God, oh my God. I opened the door. Ryan looked stunned. Tall guy. Maybe late 30s. Expensive coat. Hair a mess. He clearly expected Emma. Not me. He looked over my shoulder and saw her standing there. Everything on his face changed. Claire followed me, he said immediately. Not hello. Not sorry. That. Emma swore under her breath. Ryan looked back at me, then said, You're her husband. I almost laughed. Sharp observation. He rubbed his face. This isn't. Don't. He stopped. Emma came forward. Voice sharp as glass. Why are you here? Claire knows everything. And she threw a lamp at me. I actually blinked. Ryan looked genuinely rattled. She went through my messages. Emma hissed. You kept messages? Ryan looked at her. Why didn't you answer? Emma stared. You texted me 20 times. Because Claire was losing it. And you came here? Yes. To my house. I didn't know what else to do. The fact they were arguing like I wasn't standing there felt surreal. Like I'd walked into some nightmare sitcom. I interrupted. How long? Ryan looked at Emma. Emma glared at him. Neither answered. I repeated it. How long? Ryan quietly said. Since November. Emma snapped. It was December. He turned toward her. Emma. And right there, that one exhausted look, told me he'd covered for her before. A lot. I felt physically numb. November. That meant 7 months. Birthdays. Christmas. Our anniversary. All fake. I asked if they loved each other. Ryan answered first. Yes. Emma whipped toward him. Why would you say that? He stared at her. Because it's true. She laughed. Cold. Disbelieving. No. Ryan looked blindsided. Emma. I never said that. He actually looked hurt. You did. No. You absolutely did. I said I cared about you. You said you wanted a future. No. Yes. She folded her arms. This is exactly why I told you to calm down. I watched this man's face go from panic to confusion to something worse. Because suddenly he was realizing what I'd already learned. Emma lied to everyone. Constantly. He asked, "What about the apartment?" Emma's expression changed instantly. I felt my stomach drop. Ryan looked between us, then kept going. "The lease." Emma snapped. "Stop." He ignored her. "You said you were waiting until July because of the mortgage." My chest tightened so hard I could barely breathe. Apartment. Lease. Timeline. They planned this. Emma shouted. "Get out." Ryan stared. "No. I mean it. No." Then he pulled out his phone. Scrolled. Turned the screen toward me. Messages. Emma's name. Pages of messages. Photos. Plans. I found a place near downtown. Once I tell him, we can finally breathe. I'm tired of pretending. I miss waking up next to you. I couldn't feel my hands. Emma looked furious. Not ashamed. Not devastated. Furious. Like he betrayed her. Then Ryan said something that changed everything. Quiet. Confused. "Wait, did you not tell him about the pregnancy?" The world stopped. I swear. No sound. No movement. Emma went completely pale. I looked at her. Ryan looked at her. Nobody breathed. Then Emma yelled, "Get out." Ryan stared. "Emma. Now." He looked genuinely lost. Then slowly. "You told me it might be mine." My entire body went cold. I turned toward Emma. And for the first time all night, for the first time in 11 years, I saw real fear on her face. Part 6. I couldn't even process the word. Pregnancy. It didn't feel real. It felt like Ryan had said something in another language, and my brain was still trying to translate it. Emma looked trapped. Ryan looked horrified. And I just stood there staring between them like an idiot. Finally, I managed. "Pregnant." Emma immediately shook her head. "No." Ryan frowned. "What?" "No," she repeated louder. "I'm not pregnant." He stared at her. "Emma, I'm not." He looked at me, then back at her. "You literally sent me the test." She snapped so fast it made both of us flinch. I said I'm not. Ryan's voice dropped. "You sent me a picture?" Emma folded her arms. It was late. "What?" I panicked. Ryan looked completely lost. "You said you missed your period." "I thought I did." "You told me it was positive." "I thought it was." "You cried." I was overwhelmed. He stared like she'd slapped him, then looked at me. "I'm sorry." And weirdly, I believed him, because his face genuinely looked wrecked. Not like Emma. Not calculating. Not shifting stories every 5 seconds. Just destroyed. I asked the question I was terrified to ask. "Are you pregnant?" Emma looked right at me. "No." Clear. Direct. No hesitation. Then my phone buzzed. And at this point I honestly thought I might pass out. Claire. Text. One photo. A pregnancy test box in Ryan's bathroom trash. Another photo. A screenshot. Emma texting Ryan 3 weeks ago. 2 lines. I'm freaking out. My stomach dropped so hard I grabbed the kitchen counter. Emma saw the screen and whispered, "Seriously?" Ryan saw it too. Then something clicked in his face. "Wait." He opened his own phone. Scrolled. Looked at her. "When did you tell him?" Emma didn't answer. Ryan kept going. "You told me he'd never find out." Emma's voice sharpened. "Stop talking. You said you were handling it." "Ryan, you said the appointment was last Tuesday." My head snapped toward her. "Appointment?" Emma looked furious. At him. At me. At the universe. Then she muttered. "I handled it." I felt sick. "What does that mean?" Silence. "What does that mean?" Finally she exploded. "IT means I took care of it." The room went dead quiet. Cooper barked from upstairs. Then silence again. Ryan looked pale. "You said you wanted time." Emma laughed bitterly. Well, clearly time wasn't an option anymore. I stared at her. Was it mine? And that was the first time she actually looked unsure. Just a flicker. But I saw it. Ryan saw it too. And suddenly he looked like he might throw up. Emma rubbed both hands over her face. "I didn't know." Ryan whispered. "You told me 90%. She snapped. "I was trying to calm you down." I felt anger hit so hard my vision blurred. Because this wasn't one lie. This was dozens. Layered on top of each other. To him. To me. To Claire. To everyone. I asked again. Was it mine? She looked at me. Then looked away. And that was enough. Ryan took a step back. Then another. Like he suddenly realized how insane everything had become. His phone rang. Claire. He declined it. Then rang again. He answered. Quiet. I'm here. Pause. Then his whole expression changed. What? Pause. Longer. Then. No, don't leave. He looked up at us. Face drained. Claire packed a bag. Then he walked outside mid-call, leaving me and Emma alone. Finally. And somehow that felt worse. Because the house got very quiet. Emma leaned against the counter. Exhausted. Like she had been through something. Then she looked at me. And said, I know how this looks. I just stared. Because there was nothing left to say to that. She kept going. It got complicated. Complicated. Yes. You cheated for 7 months. It wasn't planned. You lied constantly. I was scared. You made another man think you were carrying his child. Tears filled her eyes. I didn't know what to do. And for one awful second, I saw the woman I married. Not the liar. Not the manipulator. Just Emma. Scared. Messy. Falling apart. And part of me hated that I still cared. Then headlights flashed outside again. A second car. Fast. Aggressive. Driver's door slammed. A woman stormed toward our front porch. And Ryan shouted, Claire, wait. Part 8. Emma just stared at her phone ringing. Her mom's name lit up the screen again and again. She didn't move. Claire noticed first. Then Ryan. Then me. Emma looked terrified. Not annoyed. Not angry. Terrified. I'd never seen that before. Her mom, Diane, and Emma had always been weird. Close in public. Tense in private. Every holiday ended with some passive-aggressive fight. But Emma still answered every call. Always. This time she just stood there frozen. The phone stopped. Then immediately rang again. Emma finally picked up. Hi. Silence. Then. No. Longer silence. Her face went white. What do you mean he's there? Every muscle in my body tightened. She turned away from us. Hand over one ear. No, don't let him in. Then louder. Mom, seriously, don't. The front gate slammed outside. Hard. Ryan and Claire both turned. A car door. Heavy footsteps. Emma whispered, Oh my God. Then the front door opened wider. A man walked in without knocking. Tall. Gray coat. Mid-50s maybe. Broad shoulders. Angry in that calm, dangerous way. I recognized him immediately. Daniel. Emma's father. He and Diane divorced years ago. Messy. Loud. Emma barely spoke to him. Maybe once every few months. And now he was standing in our living room. Emma looked like she wanted to disappear. Dad. He looked at her. Then at Ryan. Then Claire. Then me. And said, I got a very interesting phone call. Nobody answered. Daniel stepped farther inside. Closed the door. Calm. Controlled. The kind of calm that somehow feels worse. Emma snapped first. Mom called you. She did. Why? He stared at her. Because apparently your husband deserved not to be blindsided alone. That hit hard. Emma's face tightened. Ryan quietly muttered, Wow. Claire folded her arms. Daniel looked around again. Then landed on Ryan. You married? Ryan nodded once. Daniel looked at Claire. Sorry. Then back to Emma. Explain. Emma instantly got sharp again. This isn't your business. He raised an eyebrow. You brought your affair into your husband's house. It became everybody's business. Emma glared. Don't talk to me like that. And Daniel laughed. Actually laughed. That attitude right there? That's exactly why your mother called. Emma looked furious. Great. He ignored that. Then looked at me. And what he said next made the room go dead quiet. I warned you. I blinked. What? Emma snapped. Don't. Daniel kept looking at me. Before the wedding. And suddenly I remembered. One conversation. Years ago. The rehearsal dinner. He'd had too much whiskey. Pulled me aside outside the venue. Said Emma was brilliant. Strong. But if she ever felt cornered, she'd burn the whole house down and blame the smoke on someone else. At the time I thought he was being bitter. Divorced dad stuff. Emma apparently remembered too. Because she looked furious. You don't get to do this. Daniel turned toward her. You lied to your husband. Stay out of it. You lied to another woman. Stop. You lied to me last month. That made her freeze. Ryan frowned. Claire too. Daniel kept going. You said you needed money for a legal issue. Emma looked panicked. My stomach dropped. He looked at me. She asked for 12,000 euros. I stared. Emma whispered, Dad. He ignored her. Said she needed it fast. I felt sick. Because 6 weeks ago Emma told me her father refused to help with some family emergency. She was angry for days. Apparently another lie. I asked, what was the money for? Emma immediately. Nothing. Daniel. She said it was for a deposit. Ryan went pale. Apartment. Emma shouted. Stop talking. Daniel's voice stayed level. Wasn't for a lawyer. Ryan looked wrecked. Claire closed her eyes. I honestly felt detached, like I was floating outside my body watching strangers. Then Daniel said one more thing. Quiet. Almost disappointed. And your mother also told me she found a storage unit key in your old room. Emma froze. Actually froze. Daniel held up a tiny silver key. Emma whispered. No. My heart dropped. Ryan stared. Claire too. Daniel asked. Want to tell us what's in there? Emma looked around the room, cornered from every direction. And for the first time in 11 years, the sharp comebacks were gone. No quick lie. No sarcasm. No attack. Just panic. Then she bolted. Straight for the front door. Part 9. Emma moved fast. Way faster than I expected. 1 second she was standing there staring at the key. Next she shoved past Ryan and Claire and sprinted out the front door. Ryan cursed and followed. Claire right behind him. Daniel looked at me. Then said, You coming? And I swear my brain hadn't fully caught up, but my body already moved. By the time I got outside, Emma was pulling out of the driveway. Tires screeching. Ryan jumped into his car. Claire got in with him. Daniel barked. My truck. And somehow 30 seconds later, I was in the passenger seat, while my father-in-law chased his daughter through the neighborhood at nearly midnight. Which is still insane to type. Emma blew through a stop sign. Daniel muttered something under his breath in Polish, something I definitely wasn't supposed to understand, but got the meaning anyway. Ryan followed behind us. Headlights everywhere. Emma hit the main road. Fast. Too fast. I kept staring at her taillights. Heart hammering. Thinking, what is in that storage unit? What could possibly be so bad she'd run? Daniel suddenly spoke. She's done this before. I looked at him. He kept his eyes on the road. When she was 19. What? She lied to everyone. Different story every time. Maxed out credit cards in her mother's name. I stared. She told us someone stole them. He laughed bitterly. It was her. My stomach twisted. And she just lied? For months. He gripped the wheel tighter. Emma hates consequences. Always has. I didn't even know what to say, because I'd been married to her 11 years. And somehow this was new. Or maybe not new. Maybe I just ignored things. Small lies. Convenient excuses. Her ability to twist every argument. Maybe it had always been there. Maybe I just kept explaining it away. Emma turned off toward an industrial part of town. Storage buildings. Dark. Fenced. Security lights. Daniel cursed and parked crooked. Ryan's car slid in behind us. Emma was already out. Running. Key in hand. Claire yelled. Emma. No response. She sprinted between rows of metal doors. Daniel chased after her. I followed. Heart pounding so hard it hurt. And then I saw her. At Unit 214. Hands shaking. Trying to unlock it. Ryan reached her first. Grabbed her wrist. Stop. She jerked away. Let go. Claire got there. Then me. Then Daniel. Emma looked around wildly. Like an animal cornered. Then the lock clicked. She yanked the door open. And every one of us stopped dead. Because inside wasn't furniture. Or boxes. Or random storage. It looked like a secret second life. Suitcases. Clothes. Kitchen stuff. Lamp. Bedding. A coffee machine. Half-packed moving boxes. A framed photo of Emma and Ryan. My chest tightened so hard I thought I'd collapse. Ryan stared. What? Emma breathed hard. Didn't answer. Claire saw the photo and went pale. Then Daniel walked deeper in. Looked around. And found paperwork on a folding table. Lease agreement. Downtown apartment. Emma's name. Ryan's name. Signed. Ryan whispered. No. Emma snapped. I was figuring things out. Claire laughed. A horrible broken sound. You signed a lease. Emma shouted. I changed my mind. Ryan picked up another envelope. Opened it. And his whole face changed. Emma. He held up bank statements. Mine. Printed. Savings account info. Mortgage documents. Retirement fund details. My blood ran cold. I stared. How do you have those? Emma didn't answer. Ryan looked confused. Then found more. Claire stepped in. Opened another box. And went completely silent. Then she slowly lifted something out. A jewelry box. Opened it. Inside. Ryan's wedding ring. The one he told Claire he lost in March. Ryan looked sick. Claire whispered. You told me you dropped this at the lake. Ryan stared at Emma. Why do you have that? Emma looked furious. I was keeping it. For what? Silence. Then Daniel found another folder. Medical paperwork. He looked at Emma, then at me, then back. His face changed. Slowly. And I knew before he spoke. I knew. He said, "There's another test here." Ryan looked over. Claire too. Daniel held up a DNA lab envelope. Already opened. My name on it. Emma whispered. No. My knees almost gave out. Because I had never taken a DNA test in my life. Never. Daniel slowly read the top line. Then looked straight at me, face pale, and said, "This says you're not the biological match." Part 10. Everything after that sentence felt unreal. Cold air. Bright fluorescent lights. Ryan breathing hard somewhere behind me. Claire whispering what? Daniel holding the paper like it might explode. And me standing there unable to process a single thing. I finally forced words out. Biological match to what? Nobody answered. Daniel looked at Emma. Emma looked ready to collapse. I stepped toward him. Took the paper. Hands shaking so badly I could barely hold it. DNA lab. Private clinic. 3 weeks ago. Comparison results. Subject A. Michael Carter. That's me. Subject B. Fetal tissue sample. My vision blurred. Then the result line. Probability of paternity. Excluded. I felt like all the oxygen disappeared. Ryan looked at Emma. Then back at me. Claire covered her mouth. And I just stood there staring. Because my brain kept trying to reject it. No. Impossible. I never gave DNA. Never consented. Never even knew this existed. Emma whispered. I can explain. I looked up. How do you have my DNA? Silence. Then Ryan quietly said. The toothbrush. Emma's eyes shut immediately. Ryan looked sick. You said you grabbed one from home. I felt actual nausea. Emma snapped. I panicked. You stole my toothbrush. I needed answers. You stole my DNA? I didn't know what else to do. Her voice echoed off the metal units. Daniel stared at her like he barely recognized her. Claire looked horrified. I couldn't even feel anger yet. Just shock. Huge empty shock. I asked the obvious question. If it wasn't mine, was it his? Ryan froze. Emma looked away. Ryan stepped forward. Emma. Nothing. Was it mine? Nothing. Then she whispered. Yes. Claire physically recoiled. Like she'd been burned. Ryan just stared. Completely pale. And then Emma kept talking too fast. It wasn't certain. Ryan. You just said yes. I meant likely. Claire laughed bitterly. Oh my God. Emma looked at me. Eyes wet. I never wanted you hurt. And I swear if she had screamed at me, I could have handled it better. But hearing that after months of lying, after stealing my DNA, after planning a second apartment, something in me just went completely still. Ryan grabbed the lease papers. Hands shaking. You were serious? Emma snapped. I was trying to make a decision. For 7 months? I needed time. Claire looked ready to cry. Daniel just stood silent. Then Ryan flipped through another folder. And suddenly frowned. What is this? He held up a printed email. Emma lunged for it. Too late. Ryan read. Then his whole face changed. Emma. Silence. He looked at Claire. Then me. Then read aloud. Offer letter. Seattle office. Claire blinked. Ryan too. He kept reading. Transfer approved beginning August. I looked at Emma. Seattle? Different country. Different city. Different everything. Ryan whispered. You told me you turned that down. Emma didn't answer. He stared harder. You said you wanted us here. Nothing. Then he found another page. Housing application. Only Emma's name. No Ryan. No me. Just Emma. Ryan looked devastated. Claire looked stunned. I felt numb. And Emma. Emma looked furious again. Cornered. Ryan whispered. You were leaving both of us. She snapped. I didn't know yet. You signed housing paperwork. I was considering options. Claire laughed. Options? Ryan looked at Emma like she was a stranger. And quietly said. You were never going to pick me. Emma's eyes flashed. I never promised. You literally planned an apartment. I changed my mind. When? No answer. Daniel finally spoke. Low and disappointed. You were going to disappear. Emma glared. Stay out of this. He shook his head. No. Then footsteps echoed from farther down the row. A security guard. Flashlight. Shouting that they were calling police. And right as we all turned, Emma grabbed the folder from Ryan's hands, ripped out a stack of papers, and ran again into the dark between the storage buildings. Part 11. Everything exploded at once. The security guard kept yelling. Ryan shouted Emma's name. Claire cursed. Daniel took off after her immediately. And me? I just ran. Pure instinct. No plan. No idea what I'd even say if I caught her. I just couldn't let her disappear. Not again. Emma was fast. She cut between rows of storage units, heels slipping on wet pavement, still clutching that stack of papers against her chest. Security lights flashed overhead. Ryan behind me. Daniel farther left. Claire yelling from somewhere near the entrance. Emma reached the fence at the back of the property. Locked. No exit. She spun around, breathing hard, cornered. And for a second nobody moved. Just heavy breathing. Cold air. Metal doors rattling in the wind. I finally said, "Stop." Emma looked at me, eyes wild, mascara smeared, hair falling loose. For the first time all night, she looked completely broken. And weirdly that hurt. Because she looked like the woman I used to love. Just shattered. Ryan got there next. Then Daniel. Security guard close behind. Emma gripped the papers tighter. Ryan tried to step closer. "Please don't do this." Emma laughed bitterly. "Don't do what?" "Whatever this is." She looked at him and said something that made his face go blank. "I never loved you." Ryan stopped moving. Claire had just reached us and froze. Emma kept going. Voice cold. "You were convenient." Ryan whispered. "What?" "You listened." "Emma, you made me feel wanted." Claire looked sick. Ryan genuinely looked like he might collapse. Emma shrugged. "But love?" "No." I stared at her. Because she sounded calm again. Sharp again. Like the panic burned off, and now she was back in control. Ryan asked, "Then why all of it?" Emma laughed. "Because it was easy." Claire whispered, "Wow." Ryan's eyes watered, and Emma looked straight at me next. That hurt worse. Because her expression softened. Just slightly. And she said, "I did love you." Past tense. My stomach dropped. "Did?" Then she added, "But I got tired." Like she was talking about a TV show, not a marriage. I stared. Tired of what? Being needed. By me. By everyone. Her hands shook. Dad needing me to be the successful daughter. Mom making everything dramatic. Ryan wanting promises. Then she looked at me. "You always believing me." That one landed like a punch. Because she said it almost gently. Like she was tired. Like my trust had just become another burden. Daniel stepped forward. "Emma." She snapped. "No." He stopped. And she held up the papers. "If any of you come closer, I tear these up." Ryan looked confused. "What papers?" She gave this weird broken smile. "Everything." Then she dropped one page. It blew across the pavement. I grabbed it instinctively. And my chest tightened. Home equity loan paperwork. My name. Electronic signature. Loan amount. 85,000 euros. Approved. I looked at Emma. Cold all over. "I never signed this." Emma didn't answer. Ryan stared. Claire too. Daniel whispered, "Jesus." I looked again. My email. My information. Forged. Emma saw my face. And finally looked ashamed. Just for a second. Then she whispered, "I was going to put it back." I couldn't even speak. 85,000. Against our house. She saw it in my face and immediately got angry. I needed options. "You committed fraud." I was going to fix it. When... Silence. Then blue lights flashed beyond the gate. Police. Security had actually called them. Emma looked toward the entrance. Then back at all of us. And something changed. She looked trapped. Completely trapped. Ryan took one step closer. "Give me the papers." Emma shook her head. Police voices got louder. Closer. Then Emma suddenly threw the stack into the air. Pages everywhere. Flying. Scattering across the pavement. And before anyone could react, she climbed the fence. Part 12. I still don't know how she did it. The fence had barbed wire across the top. Wet metal. Too high. But Emma moved like pure adrenaline. 1 second papers were flying everywhere. Next she had one foot in the chain links and was hauling herself upward. Police lights flashing blue across everything. Ryan shouted, "Emma." Daniel ran forward. Too late. She hit the top, caught her sleeve on the wire, ripped the fabric clean open, and dropped hard on the other side. For one awful second I thought she'd broken something. Then she got up and ran. Straight into the darkness behind the storage units. The officers came through the gate at the same time. Security guard talking over everyone. Ryan trying to explain. Claire crying. Daniel swearing. And me? I just stood there staring at scattered papers while my wife disappeared into the night. One officer took statements. Another followed the direction she ran. But it was dark. Industrial lots. Back roads. Too many places to disappear. And honestly, I was too numb to chase anymore. So I helped gather papers. Mortgage documents. bank statements, lease agreements, emails, receipts, a second phone bill. Then Claire picked something up and froze. I looked over. She was holding a passport. Emma's. Open and tucked inside. A boarding pass. Printed. Tomorrow afternoon. Seattle. Ryan stared, then saw another ticket. Different name. He frowned. Claire handed it over. His face went pale. It wasn't Ryan. Male passenger. Adrian Keller. Nobody spoke. Then Claire quietly asked, "Who's Adrian?" Ryan looked destroyed. "I don't know." I felt sick again. Another one. Apparently yes. Daniel picked up a folder beside the passport. Inside were apartment listings. Seattle. Emails. A contact named Adrian. Then a photo paper-clipped to one page. Emma. Standing beside a guy I'd never seen. Blonde. Maybe 40. Hand around her waist. Both smiling. Not candid. Not accidental. Like a couple. Ryan laughed once. Broken. You've got to be kidding. Claire looked exhausted beyond words. Daniel just closed his eyes. Then one of the officers walked over. Asked if Emma had access to cash. I immediately said no. Then Ryan and Daniel both looked at me. And Daniel quietly asked, "Did you check your accounts?" My stomach dropped. I opened my banking app. Loading. Loading. Then numbers. And I swear my knees nearly gave out. Savings account. Almost empty. Transfers. Multiple. Over the last 2 weeks. I couldn't breathe. Ryan checked his too. Then stared. Claire looked at him. "What?" He whispered. "She took money from me too." Claire closed her eyes. "How much?" Ryan swallowed. 30,000. I looked back at mine. Nearly 60,000 gone. Daniel muttered something under his breath again. The officer asked if we wanted fraud reports filed immediately. I said yes before he finished. Ryan too. Claire nodded. Then my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Again. I almost didn't answer. Then I did. Silence. Breathing. Then Emma. Quiet. Wind in the background. I didn't mean for this. I shut my eyes. "Where are you?" "Doesn't matter." "It matters." "No." Her voice sounded shaky. Different. Not angry. Not sharp. Just tired. Then, "I did love you." I laughed bitterly. "Don't." "I did. You stole from me." Silence. "I know. You lied for months." "I know. You forged my signature." Long pause. Then, "I was going to pay it back." That made me laugh again. Not because it was funny. Because it was unbelievable. Police officer gestured asking where she was. I put the phone on speaker. Emma heard voices. And immediately got tense. "Are police there?" "Yes." She inhaled sharply. Then, "Don't tell them." "Emma." "I'm serious." "Where are you?" Silence. Then very quietly. "I'm at the station." I frowned. "What station?" Then I heard an announcement over speakers. "Train departure." And she said, "I'm sorry." Then the line went dead. Part 13. For 1 second, everyone froze. Then the officer nearest me grabbed his radio. Fast. Started speaking in clipped Polish. Asking dispatch to contact the main train station. I was barely processing words. Just staring at my phone. Call ended. Emma gone again. Ryan heard the announcement too. He immediately said, "Central Station." Officer nodded. Daniel already moving toward his truck. "Get in." Claire and Ryan followed. Police lights behind us. And somehow we were doing this again. Flying through nearly empty streets after midnight. The whole city looked unreal. Streetlights blurred. Traffic signals. Wet roads reflecting blue police lights. My phone still in my hand. Half expecting it to ring again. Half hoping it wouldn't. Daniel gripped the wheel so hard his knuckles were white. Nobody talked. Then Claire quietly asked Ryan, "Who's Adrian?" Ryan stared out the window. "I don't know." "Seriously?" "I swear." She nodded once. Didn't say anything else. And somehow that silence felt worse. We pulled up near the station. Police already there. One officer pointed toward the platforms. People moving everywhere. Late-night travelers. Announcements overhead. Chaos. I ran. Past ticket machines. Past benches. Heart pounding. And then I saw her. Emma. Near platform 4. Small suitcase. Coat torn at the sleeve from the fence. Hair a mess. Passport in hand. And beside her, a man. Blonde. Tall. Same guy from the photo. Adrian. He looked confused. Emma saw me first. Then police. Then Daniel. Then Ryan and Claire. And for the first time all night, she looked genuinely stunned. Like she truly believed she'd made it. Adrian frowned. "Emma." She whispered. "No." Police started toward them. Adrian stepped back immediately, hands raised, clearly panicking. I don't know what's happening. Emma snapped. Don't. Then looked at me, and I swear the whole station blurred. Because suddenly it was just us. 11 years. A house. A marriage. A dog waiting at home. And this stranger version of her holding a suitcase. I asked, who is he? She closed her eyes. Please don't. Who is he? Adrian answered first. I'm her fiancé. Nobody moved. Not even the police. Ryan actually laughed in disbelief. Claire looked like she might faint. Daniel swore loudly. I stared at Emma, and she looked shattered. Adrian kept talking. Fast. Confused. We're getting married in September. I felt physically sick. Police reached them. One officer held Adrian back. He kept looking between all of us. Then at Emma. Why are they saying husband? Emma whispered. Adrian. He looked terrified. Emma. Ryan laughed again. That ugly broken laugh. Claire turned away. Daniel looked ready to explode. And Adrian slowly asked, You're married? Emma didn't answer, which was answer enough. He looked at the suitcase, then at her, then at me, and whispered, What the hell? Police asked Emma for ID. She handed it over. No fight. No argument. Just numb. Adrian stepped backward like she was radioactive. Then he pulled out his own phone, scrolled, looked at her, and his face changed. You told me your divorce was final. Nothing. You said he cheated. Nothing. You said Ryan was your cousin. Ryan blinked. What? Claire covered her face. I honestly didn't even react anymore. It was almost absurd. Emma looked like she might collapse. Adrian whispered, Oh my God, then reached into his jacket, pulled out a ring box, closed it again, and just stared. Police began asking Emma about the fraud, the transfers, the forged loan. She answered quietly. Then one officer asked, Did you take funds from multiple individuals? Emma nodded once. Ryan whispered, Wow. Then the officer asked the final question. Did you intend to leave the country tomorrow? Emma hesitated, then nodded again. And right there, with police lights reflecting in the station windows, Adrian stepped back, looked straight at Emma, and said, I don't know who you are. Part 14. Emma didn't say anything after that. Not to Adrian. Not to me. Not even to the police. Just stood there holding her torn coat shut with one hand while everything around her collapsed. And honestly, that silence felt stranger than the lies. Because Emma always had something. An excuse. A comeback. A way to twist things. A version of reality she could sell with complete confidence. But now, nothing. The officer asked her to come with them. She nodded. That was it. No resistance. No argument. Adrian looked like he still couldn't breathe. Ryan stood off to the side staring at the floor. Claire leaned against a wall with both arms crossed like she was physically holding herself together. Daniel watched his daughter with this exhausted heartbreak I'll probably never forget. And me? I felt empty. Just completely empty. Then Emma finally looked at me, straight at me, and quietly said, Can we talk? The officer paused, looked at me. I nodded. We stepped a few feet away near the station windows. People kept moving past us. Announcements overhead. Train doors opening and closing. Like normal life kept happening while mine had completely detonated. Emma looked awful. Eyes red. Hair falling loose. Mascara streaked. And for a second, she looked exactly like the woman I met in college. Before everything. Before all this. She said, I know there's nothing I can say. I didn't answer. She swallowed. I didn't plan for this. I laughed once. Because after everything, that sentence felt insane. She nodded like she understood. I know. Then she looked down. And quietly, I kept thinking if I could just fix one thing, I could fix all of it. I stared. What thing? Any of it. Her voice shook. Ryan wanted certainty. Adrian wanted plans. My dad wanted me successful. My mom wanted perfect. Then she looked at me. And you trusted me. That one hurt more than I expected. Because it was true. Even when things didn't make sense. Even when little lies piled up. Even when my gut screamed something was wrong. I trusted her. Emma whispered. I didn't know how to stop. I asked the question I'd been holding all night. Did you ever love me? She answered instantly. Yes. No hesitation. And weirdly, I believed her. Maybe not every version of her. Maybe not recently. But at some point? Yeah, I think she did. Then I asked, when did that stop? She looked genuinely crushed. And said, I don't know. That was somehow the most honest thing she'd said. I asked about the money. The fraud. The forged signature. She wiped her face. I was trying to build exits. From what? Everything. That answer made me tired in a way I can't describe. Not angry. Not even shocked. Just exhausted. Then she said something unexpected. Cooper needs his medication Friday mornings. I blinked. She gave this tiny broken smile. Top cabinet. Blue bottle. And I hated how hard that hit. Because suddenly it was normal life again. Dog medication. Kitchen cabinet. Small stupid details. Inside a disaster. The officer approached. Time. Emma nodded. Then she looked at me one last time. And whispered, I'm sorry for making you doubt yourself. That landed harder than every other apology. Because that was the thing. The lies. The constant rewrites. Making me feel crazy. Making me question memory. Instinct. Reality. I just nodded. Didn't trust myself to say more. The officers led her away. Adrian left without another word. Claire and Ryan stood in silence. Then Ryan quietly told Claire everything else. No spin. No hiding. I watched her listen. Then after a long silence, Claire walked away. And Ryan didn't follow. Daniel drove me home. Neither of us talked much. Just streetlights and road noise. When I got inside, the house looked exactly the same. Shoes by the door. Cooper asleep on the couch. Emma's mug still on the counter. Like none of it happened. And that somehow felt worse than anything. Part 15. I didn't sleep. Not even for a minute. Cooper followed me room to room while I paced through the house until sunrise. Kitchen. Living room. Hallway. Bedroom. Back again. Every room felt haunted. Not in a dramatic way. Just ordinary things suddenly feeling wrong. Emma's jacket hanging by the door. A grocery list on the fridge in her handwriting. A half-read book on her side of the bed. Tiny normal details. And every one of them felt like evidence. Around 6 in the morning, Ryan texted me. Just one sentence. Claire left. Then another. I deserve that. I stared at the screen. Didn't know what to say. Eventually I wrote, I'm sorry. He replied, me too. That was the whole conversation. A few hours later, Daniel came by. Coffee in hand. Looking 10 years older than he had the day before. He sat at the kitchen table. Didn't touch the coffee. And quietly said, she's being charged. I nodded. He rubbed his eyes. There were more accounts. Of course there were. More loans too. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because somehow I'd reached the point where every new betrayal felt expected. Daniel stared at the counter. I missed all of it. I didn't answer. He shook his head. I kept thinking she was ambitious. Then, I think she was drowning. That felt true. But it didn't make anything better. He left after a while. Before walking out, he stopped and looked back. And said, I'm sorry she did this to you. Then he left. Later that afternoon, I met with a lawyer. Started paperwork. Froze our shared accounts. Changed passwords. Contacted the bank. Made lists. Signed forms. Answered questions. Spent hours cleaning up damage I didn't create. It felt surreal. Like handling someone else's divorce. Someone else's disaster. Then evening came. House got quiet again. I fed Cooper. Gave him his medication from the top cabinet. Blue bottle. Exactly where she said. And that stupid tiny task almost broke me. Because grief is weird. It isn't always the betrayal. Sometimes it's muscle memory. Reaching for 2 coffee mugs. Turning to say something. Hearing silence. 3 days later I got one email. From Emma. Sent through her attorney. No long explanation. No excuses. Just, I signed everything. You keep the house. I'm sorry. That was it. No dramatic ending. No closure speech. Just paperwork. A month later, Claire officially ended things with Ryan. Daniel moved closer to Emma's mother. Adrian disappeared completely. And me? I stayed in the house. At first because moving felt impossible. Then because Cooper liked the yard. Then because one morning I realized I'd slept through the night. For the first time in weeks. And the air felt lighter. Not good. Not healed. Just lighter. It's been 8 months now. Divorce finalized. Finances mostly repaired. Therapy helping more than I expected. Cooper still steals socks. House quieter than before. But peaceful. And last week I got one final surprise. A handwritten letter. From Emma. No return address. Inside was a single page. She wrote, you were the only person who ever truly loved me without asking me to become something else. I ruined that because I didn't know how to be honest. Not even with myself. I don't expect forgiveness. I just needed you to know that none of it was because you weren't enough. You were. You always were. I read it twice. Then folded it. Put it in a drawer. And went outside with Cooper. Sun was setting. The yard looked golden. quiet, normal. And for the first time since that awful night, I didn't feel angry, or confused, or like I needed answers. Just tired, and finally ready to let the silence stay silence. Sometimes people don't explode your life because they stopped loving you. Sometimes they were broken long before you met them. And by the time you realize it, all you can really do is lock the front door, feed the dog, and start over.